Good evening, everyone. It's Wednesday, 9 p.m., and it's time for class. We are here to take your English from okay to the English that your career and your success demand. If you don't know me, my name is Renata, and I'm an English teacher, and I'm here live every Wednesday at 9 p.m. together with my partner, MC. And tonight, as you guys can see, hi Diana, hi Matemática Mastigada here with us again. Hi Justino. I'm here with my partner MC every Wednesday at 9 p.m. And if you don't know her, she lives all the way in Canada. And I'm going to invite her in because we are actually going to share interesting things that are related to her experience, her professional experience in Canada. Say hi. Hi, Larissa. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Diana. Hi, Sophia. We have our gold diggers with us tonight. Hey, partner.
Good evening, everyone. Good morning. Good evening again. And it's a pleasure to be here with you.
Yes, MC, I was just telling them that tonight we're going to share some Canadian experiences, some experiences that you have had, some vocabulary that you have seen in your experience working in Canada. For those of you who, for those of the audience out there that don't know you, tell them a little bit about yourself.
All right. So I live in Canada, like Renata was saying. I work at a global company, and I've been in Canada working here for the past 3 years. Before that, I was born and raised in Belo. So hello to everyone from Minas. I miss you. It's snowy here today, and it's very cold, so I miss that kind of weather.
And I ate doce
And
de
friends and
leite
family.
and showed her a picture, and she was very upset with me. I'm sorry about that.
And I said, don't come rubbing that on my face. This is not fair. It's one of my favorite desserts and my favorite treats. Let's put it this way. And anyway, yes,
So
and we are here to take your English to the next level. Your English where your career demands.
leave that okay English behind once and for all. So MC, where did we get these 5 expressions from?
All right, from meetings that I attended. So what I do is actually, while I'm working, I pay really close attention to everything that everybody's saying. And I have a group with Renata just for that purpose. Anytime that I hear something that's very interesting, it's an expression that either I didn't know before, or I'm like, whoa, this is a great option for the way I'm used to say something. I write that down, and then I explain when I have some time. I explain to her the context, and yes, so she went to the very source that we have, selected a few items there for us to discuss here today.
Yeah, and what I like about this interaction that MC and I have is we get to choose we have the technical part, which is me, like teaching and explaining and filtering. And we have the reality, the workplace, the work market, MC experiencing what real people in the real world use. So that's what we have for you guys today. We have 5 expressions from her day-to-day life at work in Canada. Shall we get started? Well, I do have a disclaimer, which is for the last 3 or 4 classes, the layout here on Instagram is not correct. It's weird, and then I just disappear into the corner of the screen. So bear with me, okay? Because I don't know when Zuckerberg is going to fix that bug. But since I like bringing visual aids, pictures, sentences for you to follow, that's the price we pay for a carefully prepared class.
It makes a difference, so let's go. Who cares?
Yeah, see, there I am again. So we got to do this, and we got to at least try to show my face, at least in the least bit. So you guys, there we have it. We have a lot of our dear gold diggers around, our students. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Livia. I've seen my 2 as you guys are here usually or not usually every week or not every week too. Welcome if you are new, if you're not new around here. So let's get started then. 5 expressions from MC's professional life.
The first one that we're gonna talk about is keep your head, my head, their heads above water. Hi, Lou. Welcome, Lou. Hi, Paula. It's self-explanatory. There is no trick here. A lot of times idiomatic expressions are tricky because if you try to understand literally what each word stands for, it may not be exactly what you think it is. And in this case, it pretty much is. To keep your head above water is to survive in some way because you are overwhelmed with work. You're very, very busy. So, you're trying to keep your head above water, or you are financially going through some kind of financial struggle. That's the original idea, but it can be used for other things too, like being busy at work. So if you see these three guys here, one is super comfortable. He's fine. The second one is trying to keep his head above water. The third one is pretty much failing to keep his head above water. So an example, with that salary, I can barely keep my head above water. Do you guys think that this salary is great, sufficient, or almost insufficient?
Let us know in the comments.
Yes, let us know in the comments. I want you guys to participate, comment a lot tonight because I want you to test yourself, see if you learned it. Also, leave your little like, hit the heart here. It helps us be relevant. And next week, maybe if you like the live, you'll be notified by Instagram that we are live. Not enough, Paula, that's it. So if it's not enough, like I can barely keep my head above water with that salary. That's one example. Other examples. I am just a pensioner, so I receive pension from the government. I'm just a pensioner trying to keep my head above water. Financial example. Another one. Ooh, I work full time. I'm trying to keep my head above water. I'm barely keeping my head above water. I'm so busy with everything that I have to do. MC, can you give us one example of a situation where you would use that sentence?
Well, I can give you the actual situation where that happened. I was touching base with a peer, and it was work-related conversation. And then she was like, well, I'll have to get back to you at some point. Right now, I have to take care of a personal issue. And I was asking her, is everything okay? I hope you're fine. If I can do anything to help you, let me know. And then she mentioned, well, I'm keeping my head above water. So that was her sentence, and very honest and very transparent, very human as well. So I really appreciated the way she said it without getting to the details, without having to explain everything, and without having to use adjectives. She was actually just letting me know 100 adjectives just by saying keep my head above water.
Yeah, that's really
adjectives.
Cool. Yeah, so she basically said like I'm surviving. I'm going through it. I'm not great. I'm not excellent. I'm not, frozen. I'm not dying. I'm surviving. I'm here. Cool. So let's try to practice that. You guys are going to comment in the comments below. I love to think of how else can I say this? Every time I'm trying to expand vocabulary, I'm trying to practice vocabulary out of my comfort zone. How else can I say this? You guys are going to think, hi, Dumi. Welcome, Dumi. How else can I say this? I'm sorry for the late response. In an email, okay? I'm sorry for the late response. I am busy these days. This is a very okay English sentence. All right? Alert. Very okay English. Let's change that. Alert. I'm sorry for the late response. I'm busy these days. Comment. How else can you say this using the new expression? I'm sorry for the late response, but I am busy these days. Try to change everything that you can and make it into something more idiomatic, not okay, good, beautiful, elevated English. I'm waiting for the comments. I'm sorry for the late response. I'm busy these days. How else can I say this? How else can you guys say this? Hi, Niziane. Hi, Jason. Raissa. Zenilti. I think I'm pronouncing the names correctly. I hope so. Milton, Leandro. All right.
He works with me. Used
Oh, he
to.
does. Okay, cool. Cool. All right, so that's the first one. I guess, is it hard? Is it hard to think of the sentence? If it is, comment. We'll give you the answer if it's hard. Or maybe just you might just be thinking and typing. Let's wait a couple more seconds. Okay, more people coming in. Okay. I guess it's time to give the answer, right? MC, how would you say it? I'm sorry for the late response. I am busy these days. Okay, Christian has given it a try. At the moment I'm at my work, I'm trying to keep my head above water. At the moment I'm at my work, I'm trying to keep my head above water. How can we refine that a little bit, MC?
Well, Christian, what we can do is actually say at the moment I'm at work. So not my work is not necessary because it's not the best combination in the world. And then I'm trying to keep my head above water. Perfect.
At the moment I'm at work. Maybe you can also remove the second I'm. At the moment I am at work.
Yeah.
Trying to keep my head above water. And then you say, right, sorry, I'm sorry. And then you can end with an apology. Okay, Mai said she's struggling to comment.
And again, if you're gonna use the keep my head above water, make sure you know the person that you are interacting with. Make sure it's not it's a relationship. You kind of trust that person as well. Otherwise, it's gonna sound very dramatic. It can fall flat a little bit. So
yeah, I guess every time you use I am busy as justification for a mistake or for not being able to attend as fast as you would like, it's tricky. You know, I'm busy, I'm sorry, but I'm busy. It may sound like, you know, a little bit too much information. So I get that disclaimer is works for I'm busy and I'm keeping my head above water, I'm struggling, I'm surviving, I'm going through a lot right now. So it's important to remember that, okay, when to use the expression. Okay,
well, way to go, Christian. Way to go.
Way to go, way to go. Hi, Denise. Welcome. One more student coming in. Okay, I wrote, I have so much to do this week that I can barely keep my head above water. All right, that would be also a great way to say I have so much to do that I can barely is a great adverb, keep my head above water.
I love barely.
Yeah, me too. Second expression from MC's professional life in Canada. Hit and miss or hit or miss. Two options, two possibilities for the same idea. When something is random, it's an adjective. First of all, it qualifies. You say something is hit and miss. Something is hit or miss. And what do I mean by random? I mean, you don't know if it's going to work or not for sure because it is not very organized and it's not very planned ahead, you know, anticipatedly. So there's like a 50-50% of chance of working. Like, my cooking is very hit or miss. Sometimes delicious and great, and the other days it's like the salt is a little off, or like little salt, or maybe not the best combination. So the fact that I cook by instinct almost makes my cooking hit and miss. My cooking is very hit and miss. What about your cooking? Is your cooking hit and miss, hit or miss too? Another example. My first 3 years as a professional were very hit and miss. When you are learning a new profession, learning a new job, you end up making a lot of mistakes because you don't know how to plan things so well, how to organize yourself so well. So it can be very hit and miss. Sometimes you make mistakes, sometimes you get things right. So my first 3 years as a professional were very hit and miss. All right. Mine is always a miss. Kaka says that hers is always a miss. Come on, I doubt it. All right, another example. The controversial advertising campaign may be hit or miss. You know how sometimes a brand tries to do something really controversial, really different, really unique, and then it backfires. So thinking about a controversial advertising campaign that's not so well thought of, it may be hit or miss. It may work a lot, or it may not work very well. So that's kind of a good situation to illustrate this expression. Paula said, at the beginning, my talks in Spanish were very hit and miss. Cool, Paula. Paula speaks Spanish too. She's a polyglot, right? Cool, Paula. So I imagine that at first you tried, you didn't know exactly what you were doing. So sometimes it went well, sometimes it didn't. Awesome.
Look at Lou as well. Lou Santos, dating is very hit and miss.
Oh God, Lou, dating is the perfect scenario for this expression, hit and miss. You never know what's gonna happen. You try, you don't plan it. You can't just strategize and plan a relationship. Dating is hit and miss. Sometimes you get things right, sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. Let's think of other examples then. Throw in your examples. What can be hit and miss? I love the examples that you guys are bringing. What else? Give it a try. MC, what can be hit and miss?
Well, in terms of budget, if you don't monitor your budget regularly and in a very careful way, that means that the adherence to the budget can be hit and miss.
True, true. A budget is something that does not work unless it's very, very carefully planned. It's a great example. Great example. The lottery.
Which works for whichever job you have, you're gonna have to touch on budget at some point.
Yeah. The lottery is hit and miss, or can be hit and miss. Great.
Great.
Let me see if I have any other. Oh, and what is important about expanding your vocabulary and really absorbing the idea is creating examples with meaningful experiences to you, meaningful meanings, meaningful sentences. Because when I thought of this example, the first thing that came to mind was my cooking. So to me, that's something that I won't forget what it means. When I say my cooking is hit and miss, it's just ingrained inside of me, and I'm not going to forget it. If you just get a dictionary and you copy the sentence, it's not going to work as well. Our memory is very emotional. We remember things when things matter to us, when it makes sense and it matters. A job interview can be hit and miss. True, Larissa, very true.
Ooh, I thought about that. I was thinking, I was being more specific in my head. I was thinking about a co-op or an intern hire. It can be a hit and miss because usually they don't have a lot of experience, and you're going to interview them, and well, it can be successful, but it might be misleading as well. So anyway, it's hard. Resume doesn't tell you that much at this point.
Yeah, it's hard to plan and make sure the result will be exactly as you initially thought, right?
Yeah,
Paula
but
said
I was thinking from a hiring manager point of view. I guess Lottie was thinking about the other way, like
yeah, but I think it's
interviewee.
Yeah, I guess even if you do prepare, if you do plan, it's impossible to really plan and really be 100% prepared. So the more you prepare, of course, the better your odds are. Still, they can be hit and miss. They can be. Targets and goals can be hit and miss too. Sure, great. I love the examples, guys. So I'm assuming that it's clear to you guys. Sending a frenzy of resumes is pretty much hit and miss. True, Mai. If you just go around sending resumes without thinking about what company it is you're choosing, what kind of person do they actually need or want to hire, absolutely hit and miss. Not organized, not planned, not not strategized. True, true, true. Okay, delivery and presentations can be, okay, just one thing, Paula. I think you did, okay, no, I think it's only here. Can be hit and miss. Remove the article because it's an adjective. Delivery and presentations can be hit and miss. Remove the article.
Great to know.
Yeah, it's an adjective.
Hit and miss. anything. Mm-hmm.
And you can also say some adjectives cannot be used like alone, like we are saying. This is hit and miss. This expression can, and it can also be used before a noun. It was a hit and miss campaign. So it can be used alone or before a noun. Hi, Felipe. Hi, Chris. Hi, Christina.
Christina is Melo's mom.
Hi, Christina. Nice to meet you. We love Melo. Okay, number 3, piggybacking. Piggybacking. I love this one. Okay, taste exotic food can be hit and miss. True. Number 3, piggybacking. Number 3, expressions that MC uses at work in Canada. Piggybacking. The image is of also self-explanatory, very illustrative. When someone rides your back, not your shoulders, your back, it's called piggybacking or piggyback ride, sorry. So this expression means just piggyback the last topic. Speaking of which, by the way, when you are connecting subjects, you heard someone was talking about something, and then you say, you know what? Since we are speaking about that, let me say something about this. You are connecting two subjects, but isn't it a great expression?
It is. When I heard it, my mind was blown. Then I was like, well, piggyback, and then let me piggyback on that subject. And I was like, Nazaré meme, you know, like
we love Nazaré meme. And mind blown. So yeah, in Portuguese, we do say, let me get a ride on this, or getting a ride on this. Some people use that as an informal connector. It's also good to point that out. It's not a formal way to connect. It's not informal in the sense that you should be careful about it, right, MC? It's not like, ooh, be careful. But it is more to the informal side. So just piggybacking on that last topic, repeat with me that little sentence because it's a short sentence. Just piggybacking on the last topic. Just piggybacking on that subject. And then you go. I said at my last job when I was in training, I piggybacked on another associate to learn how she said it. So you piggybacked on another associate. The verb is to piggyback. How she said the beach. Okay, cool. So you piggybacked on her. Okay, so just piggybacking on that. What are we gonna do now? We're gonna do a short little game where I say something and then MC says something piggybacking on that subject, and then you guys are gonna try, and then we're gonna go like on a continuous conversation, changing subjects. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so MC,
did you see that there was a beautiful rainbow? There was such a beautiful rainbow here on my out my window yesterday, and by the way, I won the poll. My view was chosen for the first time. Can you believe it?
How?
I don't know. I was surprised. I was shocked that they didn't prefer the snow.
Come on, people. Look at this view that I have here. It's so beautiful. It's snow all over.
Just piggybacking on that, MC. How has the weather been in Canada? Has it been very extremely cold or just cold?
No, we're having mild temperatures, to be honest. So it's been my 4th winter time here, and comparing the 4 seasons, this is one of the best. We had just 1 or 2 weeks where we had like really cold temperatures around -20 and feels like -30 or something, but that was it.
Cool. Just
and not a lot of snow.
Are you guys gonna piggyback on the subject? I want to hear you guys piggybacking on the subject. I'm gonna piggyback one more time, and then you guys go. So just piggybacking on the subject of living in Canada. What's the worst part about having to go through the winter time there?
Oh, definitely. The clothes and because you need gear, right? It's not only about clothes. You need the gloves, and you need maybe a scarf and a toque. And you know what? It's a lot to handle if you want to live fast, you know. Just let me just go there for a moment. I'll just shop right now and then come back. No, you need to kind of put on all of the clothes, all the right clothing, and also the gear so you're good to go. And by the end of the winter, I'm so annoyed by my heavy boots that I'm like, no, it's already +3. So who cares about winter? It's not even winter anymore. I can just wear my light down jacket and maybe just my summer shoes, and who cares if it's just slippery. So be safe.
Where is your piggybacking, guys? Paulo wrote, just piggybacking on the subject. What about living in Canada? Do you love it, MC?
I love it. I love it. To be honest, it's a great place to live and to raise a family. It's awesome. So we have great public health. It's very outdoorsy. So a lot of people, regardless of weather and the time, they're just gonna be outside and doing lots, having lots of fun. And it's great. Can't believe it. I thought I would never adjust to Canada life after living in United States. Little did I know.
Yeah. Paula, just piggybacking on the subject using ing. My wrote, piggybacking about the winter subject. My piggybacking on. Piggybacking on the winter subject, I have been in love with the snow just like a little kid. Great. So my made a comment. She didn't ask a question. She just pulled, connected the subject and made a comment. I've been in love with the snow just like a little kid.
Yeah, and just like my dog as well, Dawn absolutely is crazy about snow.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable.
So the third expression was piggybacking, to piggyback, to get a ride on a subject and connect with the next one that you want to talk about.
Didn't you love piggybacking?
I love it.
I absolutely, it's one of my favorites.
Oh, Kaka said, piggybacking on that, I almost cried when I heard the first bird crying in the beginning of spring after living an entire winter in Minnesota.
That's true.
Oh,
That's true. It's like, oh my God, wildlife is back here. You know, it's not even wildlife, but anyway, any sort of life other than human, it's awesome.
oh, cool. We appreciate life better in those situations. Alrighty, next one, number 4. Just piggybacking. Okay, just going back. Just piggybacking on it. Okay, Larissa, just piggybacking on it. Today, it's raining a lot in São Paulo. Okay, cool. In BH, the weather is clear today.
And
Good.
let's pause here for a moment and clap our hands, because you know what? Standing ovation for everyone. I'm not going to stand, but anyway, you did a great job in the piggybacking.
You did a great job. You did. Number 4, fourth expression that MC uses and has seen in her professional life in Canada. In fashion, in a certain fashion, which means in a certain specific way. Pause. If you follow us and you watch our stories, you have taken the quiz and you know that particular does not mean something that doesn't belong to the government. It does not mean what you think it means in Portuguese. Particular means specific. So in a specific way, in a specific fashion, in a particular fashion. How? Fashion, yes. She will be working out her problems in her own fashion. In her own way. She will do it the way that she wants to do it. Now, when we use in a certain fashion, that's more formal. It's not everyday English, something that is elevated. Choose the moment to use it. Great. It shows that your English is a little more elevated and you know what you're doing. So, please leave the building in an orderly fashion. Can you see that you go in and then you qualify orderly, her own fashion. Please leave the building in an orderly fashion, in an organized way. You are talking about manner, way. Next one. Oh, next one. Sorry, I have more examples here. I didn't write all of them.
Oh, by the way, just an FYI for everyone, and that expression, it's not unusual to hear that, but I heard the last time that I actually wrote that to Renata from a lawyer.
Oh, cool, cool. Yeah, it's a little more formal. So let's
And I
try to.
always pay attention to them because I'm like, ooh, let me see what I'm gonna learn today.
Hi, Noda. So how else can you say this? Let's try to substitute. Simple and easy. Each customer experiences the product in a particular way. Change the sentence. You don't have to comment. Do it orally now, just speaking. Each customer experiences the product in a particular way. So what happens to the sentence? Trying to use in a particular. MC, give them the answer, please.
Well, and you correct me if I'm wrong because I don't usually use that one. Each customer experiences the product in a fashion, in some fashion.
In some fashion, okay. In some fashion, in a particular fashion. Okay. All right, next one. The website is organized in an orderly way. Easy. What happens to the expression, to the sentence?
Are we giving them time, or do you want me to give it a try?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
The website's organized in an orderly fashion.
Yeah, just change way for fashion. This, attention to the details. She would rather get it designed her own way. She would rather get it designed her own way. How else can you say this using the new expression? Oh, Larissa said substitute way. Okay.
And it's funny because a lot is saying that, and at the same time, I'm thinking, does that work for 100% of the situations, or not necessarily?
It does,
No,
but
right?
you have to change one little thing.
The article,
The
preposition.
yes, in. You have to say in. Where was it here? She would rather get it designed in her own fashion.
Oh, okay. In her own fashion.
So we have some examples from you guys here. Mateo's website is organized in, I don't understand, in an orderly fashion. In an orderly fashion. They'll find a way to scale up production in their own fashion. All right, Paula, great sentence. Very elevated, amazing. They'll find a way to scale up production in their own fashion. She would rather get it designed in her own fashion. That was a typo, right, Mai? Great, good job. Okay.
And don't you apologize, Paula,
okay,
because
Paula.
we're here. Yeah, we're here to do that.
You guys can send the comment just because it takes longer, and then you might be behind if you try to do everything in written form. Okay, so let's say in a specific way. What happens? Change it. In a specific way becomes?
In some fashion.
In some fashion. In a particular fashion. In a specific fashion. In the same way?
In some fashion.
Or in the same fashion. It changes a little bit, right? In the same fashion. In an orderly way?
In an orderly fashion.
Great. So basically, it's the same thing. Just change way for fashion. Elevate your English. However, don't forget, I can say that I want to do it my own way, but I want to do it in my own fashion. You got to put the preposition there. And last but not least, expression number 5, as opposed to. This is an idiomatic expression used to compare, and the focus is to emphasize the difference between two things. So you don't want to just compare. You want to compare and say, this is something as opposed to this, which is not like that. You want to really contrast and say there is a big difference between them. Like this. I live in Brazil, as opposed to MC, who lives in Canada. I can say, I live in Brazil, as opposed to MC. What am I saying? She doesn't. Instead of saying, I live in Brazil and she doesn't. Okay, English. But we want more. I live in Brazil, as opposed to MC. But I kind of have to have an intention of saying this because I want to show you that she does not. I don't want to just say, I live here, but she doesn't. I live in Brazil, as opposed to MC, who lives in Canada. There is a bit of an intention there when you use as opposed to. You really want to show the contrast. Why did you learn German as opposed to English? The logic is learning English as a second language because it's a very, very international and useful language. Then I ask, why did you learn German as opposed to English instead
Renata,
of English? Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but every time that I hear as opposed to, I'm thinking that only one option is possible. Meaning, in that sentence here, Donna, why did you learn German as opposed to English? Meaning it was either German or English. I could not just go for both.
It means that you did not go for both. You did not.
Okay.
Why did you learn German as opposed to English? That means you chose one instead of the other. Because as opposed to is such an idiomatic expression. It means instead of, it means rather than, it means not this, that. You know, like I even wrote here, what did I write here? And not. Why did you learn German and not English? So it means all of these things at the same time. Just wanted to say hi to Natalia, our dear student who also joined in. Welcome, Natalia.
Gold digger.
Yes. Why did you vote on for? Okay, Mai, vote for. Why did you vote for the Republican as opposed to the Democrat? Democrat, too. Like, meaning the Democrat noun, okay? The person. He is a Democrat. Okay, Democratic Party. Okay. Why did you choose São Paulo, Sampa, as opposed to Rio? Great. So you're like, why did you choose São Paulo? Can you see that the question is different? Why did you choose to live in São Paulo? That's one question. Why did you choose to live in São Paulo and not Rio? That's another question. Why did you choose to live in São Paulo as opposed to Rio? Elevated English.
Elevated.
Elevated. Right. So that's the situation you're gonna use this expression in. Like this. Can you believe the bed is made of glass as opposed to wood? Most beds or many beds are made of wood. So you would expect the bed to be made of wood, and it's not. The bed is made of glass as opposed to wood and not wood. The cost of the plane is 3 million as opposed to the 2 million charged by the competitor. The cost of the plane is 3 million as opposed to the 2 million that is charged by their competitors. So I'm saying it is this and not that. So how else can you say this? How else can you say this? Elevate your English. I prefer the beach to the mountain. I prefer the beach to the mountain. How else can you say this? Let's give it a 5, a 4, a 3, a 2, a 1. MC, how would you say it? And you guys comment.
I'd rather go to the beach as opposed to the mountain.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's it. I mean, if the sentence were the opposite, I maybe it's because I'm from Minas, but most people I know would prefer the beach, to the mountain. So if someone says, I prefer the mountain as opposed to the beach, I would go, wow, really? So I prefer the mountain compared to the beach. I'm contrasting both. I'd prefer the beach among every single destination in the world, or as opposed to the mountain, the beach and the mountain. I prefer the beach as opposed, don't forget the preposition, as opposed to the mountains. I have a puppy as opposed to my sister who has a cat. Great, I guess Bruna, right? I have a club. See, great. So you are comparing you with your sister. Why am I watching this live as opposed to watching TV? Because you were learning English and elevating your English. Why working with Norwegians as opposed to French? Okay, to French men or French people or the French. Why working with, why work? Right, Paul? I guess that. Why work with Norwegians as opposed to French or the French? It's really better. I think it's better, not. One more. The director didn't attend, but the manager did. See, they both did two different things. The director didn't attend, but the manager did. How else can you say it? There is no one right answer. How else can you say this? 5, a 4, a 3, a 2, 1. MC.
Well, we can say the director didn't attend. No, let me put it this way. The manager attended as opposed to the director who didn't.
Okay, the manager attended as opposed to the director who didn't. The manager attended as opposed to the director. That would also mean that he didn't. You wouldn't necessarily have to say that he didn't, but I would.
Oh, see, Paula was thinking the same thing as I was.
Yeah, transforming it into the affirmative form.
Yeah, too many negatives in a sentence is confusing to me sometimes.
Yes.
It didn't attend as opposed to, and didn't, but not, and then I'm like, what? Confused.
And you know what? The human brain gets confused with the negatives. That's why most of the time,
more than one negative, right? I agree, totally agree.
No, even just one. Most of the time, we struggle to construct negative sentences, and we make mistakes, grammar mistakes with the auxiliaries in the negative. We don't really master them as well because it's more natural for us to speak in the affirmative. So we end up practicing the affirmative much more. And then we get better at the affirmatives than the negatives. That's why I always say practice questions and practice negatives too. Okay. I don't like that one so much. Okay, last one. Some people consider it entertainment, not violence. Some people consider it entertainment, not violence. And 5, a 4, a 3, a 2, a 1. I forgot to count to count down.
So some people consider it entertainment as opposed to violence.
I think that's the only option for this one. Some people consider it entertainment as opposed to violence.
Or some people consider it.
Go.
Some people don't consider it violence as opposed. No, yeah, that's the best way to go.
I thought the same, but it's then it would be the negative scenario.
And then it's like what?
Yeah. It's confusing,
especially after a long day of work.
Yes. So. People, this was our live lesson of the week. 5 expressions.
Before we go, can we recap the 5 expressions and ask people to write on the comments which was their favorite?
Okay, great idea. Number 1, keep my head above water. Number 2, hit and miss, something that may come out okay, may not come out okay, not planned, not very organized. Piggybacking, or to piggyback, that would be the infinitive. Piggyback. Number 4, in a specific fashion, in a particular fashion, which means in a particular or specific way. And number 5, as opposed to compare and emphasize differences. Which
is your favorite?
Leave your like, hit the heart to be notified next time. Instagram will know that you like the class, so Instagram will tell you when we are live. Okay, guys, thank you so much for coming, for watching the class with us. As always, this class will be on IGTV to be rewatched, to be consulted. So you guys can feel free to watch again, all right? Thank you so much for coming. Thank you to our dear students who are here and everyone else, our dear audience here on Instagram that we are so happy to teach every week at 9 p.m. on Wednesday. All right? Bye-bye, everybody. Bye, Gianna. Bye, Neura. Bye, Layla. Bye, Renata, who was watching the live lesson, not TV. Bye, Larissa, Paula, everyone. I can't name all the names. Paula, Mai, who was also very, very interactive today. Thank you guys so much. Bye, partner. Bye, Bruna. Bye, Lemos.
Bye, partner. Bye, everyone. Thank you for participating. It was awesome today. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.